This section will give you the tools to build muscle effectively, avoid wasting time on inefficient exercises, and stay consistent for the long haul. Introduction to training. Training is the stimulus that makes everything else work. You can have the best nutrition plan in the world, but without effective training, your body won't have a reason to grow. Training plus nutrition equals results. It's time to lock in the training side of the equation. Anatomy basics for training. Before we start breaking down training principles, it's important to know what muscles you're actually working. Understanding basic anatomy helps you target the right muscles, understand cues like engage your lats or drive with your glutes, or communicate effectively about training and form. Download the anatomy chart below. To make this simple, we've created a downloadable anatomy chart showing medical terms and common lifting terms. Download the chart and refer to it throughout the course. You'll see these terms come up often. Assignment: learn your major muscle groups. Take 1 minute to review the anatomy chart and identify the main muscle groups you'll be training. Don't worry about memorizing every term. You'll naturally learn them as you train. The goal is to recognize the muscles you're working and make a stronger mind-muscle connection. Before we dive into the details of training, let's talk about where you'll be working out. A gym is highly recommended because it gives you access to a wide variety of equipment, machines, and heavier weights, all of which help maximize your progress. Plus, the gym environment itself can keep you motivated and focused. If training at home is your only option, you'll need a few key pieces of equipment to get started. Adjustable dumbbells. These allow you to increase weight as you progress without taking up too much space. A barbell and weight plates. Great for compound lifts like squats, deadlifts, and bench presses. A bench. A flat or adjustable bench is essential for exercises like dumbbell presses or flies. A pull-up bar, perfect for building upper body strength and can be easily mounted in most doorways. While home training can be effective, a gym provides more variety, heavier weights, and a focused training environment, which can make a big difference in your long-term success. Goal setting assignment. Before we dive into specifics of training, let's take a moment to clarify your goals. Training without a clear target is like driving without a destination. You'll waste time and energy. Take a few minutes to think about what you want to achieve. Is your goal to build muscle, lose fat, increase strength, or improve overall fitness? We've included a downloadable goal-setting assignment to help you get specific. In it, you'll get SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For example, instead of saying, I want to get stronger, you might say, I want to increase my squat by 20 pounds in the next 8 weeks. This kind of clarity will keep you focused and motivated. Understanding sets. Before we discuss how many sets you should be doing, let's define what a set actually is. A set is a group of consecutive repetitions of an exercise performed without stopping. When you complete a prescribed number of reps, you finish one set. After that, you rest before starting another set. Sets are one of the key variables in structuring a workout. The number of sets you perform per muscle group per week directly impacts your overall training volume, which is one of the biggest drivers of muscle growth. How many sets should you do? The number of sets you perform is one of the biggest factors in determining how much muscle you'll build. The sweet spot for most trainees is between 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week. Beginners start with 10 to 20 sets per muscle group per week to allow for recovery and avoid unnecessary fatigue. Intermediate and advanced trainees may need 15 to 20 plus sets per muscle group per week, depending on recovery ability, training intensity, and overall volume. Important note: these sets should be spread across multiple training days. Instead of blasting your chest with 15 sets in one session, it's better to do 8 sets on one day and 7 sets later in the week to maximize muscle growth and recovery. When to add or reduce sets. More sets aren't always better. Progress comes from the right amount of volume, not just more volume. Knowing when to add or reduce sets is key for long-term progress. Add more sets if you're recovering well and not feeling overly fatigued, your strength and reps are increasing steadily, you feel like you have more energy at the end of your workouts. Reduce sets if you're constantly sore, tired, or feeling drained during workouts, your strength is plateauing or decreasing, you're struggling to recover between sessions. A good rule: if you're adding sets, make sure you're still progressing in strength or reps. If your performance starts declining, more volume isn't the answer, better recovery is. Types of sets. The way you structure your sets can impact your training efficiency and muscle growth. Here are the 4 most common and effective set structures you'll use as a beginner. Number 1, straight sets, performing the same number of reps with the same weight across all sets. Example, 3 sets of 8 reps at 100 pounds. Best for progressive overload and strength progression. Number 2, pyramid sets, adjusting the weight and reps across sets. Example, 10 reps at 80 pounds, 8 reps at 90 pounds, 6 reps at 100 pounds. Good for exposing muscles to different intensities. Once you have some experience, reverse pyramid sets, starting heavy and decreasing the weight while increasing reps, are often a better choice for maximizing strength and performance. Number 3, supersets, performing 2 exercises back to back with little to no rest. The most common version is antagonistic supersets, where you train opposing muscle groups. An example of that is biceps and triceps or chest and back. Number 4, drop sets, performing a set to failure and immediately reducing the weight and continuing with more reps. An example would be dumbbell bicep curls with 30 pounds, then dropping to 20 pounds for more reps. A great way to push muscles beyond failure. There are many more advanced set techniques that can be used later in your training, such as myo reps or cluster sets, giant sets, rest pause sets, mechanical drop sets, and pre-exhaust sets. These methods are covered in the full access group, where we break them down into detail and show you when and how to apply them for maximum gains. Principles of hypertrophy. The first principle of hypertrophy is mechanical tension. This happens when you lift heavy weights with good form. It's the foundation of muscle growth because it places the muscles under consistent strain, forcing them to adapt. Think of it as the primary driver of strength and size. Your goal is to progressively challenge your muscles with heavier weights over time while maintaining control and technique. The second principle is metabolic stress. That burning sensation you get during a high rep sets is caused by a buildup of metabolites like lactic acid in your muscles, which signal your body to grow. While not as impactful as mechanical tension, it's still important for maximizing hypertrophy. Incorporating drop sets, supersets, or higher rep ranges can help you achieve this stress effectively. The third principle is muscle damage, which occurs when you push your muscles beyond their comfort zone. This can happen by increasing weight, trying new exercises, or using controlled eccentric movements, lowering the weight slowly. Your body repairs this damage during recovery, making the muscles stronger and bigger. But remember, more isn't always better. Too much damage can lead to overtraining. Warm up and mobility. Warm ups are important, but a lot of people overdo them. You don't need to spend 20 minutes on a treadmill or go through a full yoga session before lifting. For most workouts, 5 minutes of light cardio, like walking or cycling, and a few extra warm up sets of your first exercise are usually enough. Dynamic stretches or mobility drills, like leg swings, hip openers, or arm circles, can also prep your joints. But even if you warmed up your chest with bench press, you should still do 1 or 2 lighter sets when starting a new exercise like incline dumbbell press. And when switching to a new muscle group, take 2 to 3 warm up sets to ensure you're ready for the new range of motion. Structuring your workouts. Structuring your workout starts with committing to a number of sessions you can realistically do every week, even if it's just 2. Consistency matters more than aiming for a perfect plan you can't stick to. If you're training 2 to 3 days, full body routines are ideal. For 4 to 6 days, split routines like upper, lower, or push pull legs, balance workload and recovery. Avoid the bro split, training one muscle group per day, because it doesn't provide enough frequency for maximum growth. Hitting each muscle group twice a week is much more effective. Creating a routine assignment. Once you've decided how many days per week you can train, it's time to build your routine. A great workout plan balances compound and isolation movements, trains each muscle group at least twice a week, and leaves room for recovery. To help you get started, we've included a routine assignment you can download. This tool will guide you in choosing your workout days, selecting exercises, and structuring your sets and reps. We've also included a list of recommended tutorial videos to ensure you're prepared. The key is to design a plan you can stick to consistently. It doesn't have to be perfect, just sustainable. Exercise selection. Choosing the right exercises is key to building muscle efficiently. Start with compound movements like squats, deadlifts, bench presses, and rows. These work multiple muscle groups at once and give you the biggest bang for your buck. Add isolation exercises like bicep curls or tricep overhead extensions to target smaller muscles. Don't worry if you're unsure how to do these exercises correctly. For now, focus on understanding which movements build the most muscle. Form and technique. Good form isn't optional. It's what keeps you safe, targets the right muscles, and ensures long-term progress. If you're unsure about your form, record your lifts and share them in the group for feedback. Also, check out our recommended videos we provide it to learn proper technique for key exercises. Understand the two phases of every lift: the concentric lifting and the eccentric lowering. The eccentric phase is where much of the muscle damage for growth happens, so don't rush it. Maintain control, focus on a steady tempo, and use a full range of motion, or ROM, for every lift. Cutting corners on ROM or speeding through reps cheats your progress. Mind muscle connection. The mind muscle connection is your ability to focus on and engage the specific muscle you're working during an exercise. Without this connection, our muscles and momentum can take over, reducing the effectiveness of our training. For example, during a bicep curl, you might unintentionally use your shoulder or back to help the movement. To build this skill, slow down your reps and control the movement, especially during the eccentric lowering phase. Visualize the target muscle working. Use cues like imagining your hands as hooks and pulling with your elbows during rows or squeezing your pecs during a chest press. Practice isolation exercises to sharpen the connection and carry it over to your compound lifts. Progressive overload. Progressive overload is the cornerstone of building muscle. It means gradually increasing the demands on your muscles over time, whether by adding weight, doing more reps, or increasing the number of sets. But it's not just about doing more, it's about doing enough. To grow, you need to push close to failure on most sets, staying within 3 to 4 reps of your max effort. This ensures you're challenging the muscles without risking burnout or injury. Track your progress to know when it's time to step it up. Effective hypertrophy rep ranges. One of the biggest misconceptions in training is that hypertrophy only happens within a strict 6 to 12 rep range. The truth is, muscle growth can occur in a much wider range, anywhere from 5 to even 30 plus reps per set. What matters most isn't the specific rep range, it's how close you're training to failure. You need to be within at least 3 to 4 reps of failure for effective growth, regardless of whether you're lifting heavy weights in the 5 to 8 rep range or pushing high rep sets past 20. That said, 6 to 12 reps remains the most common rep range for hypertrophy because it provides an ideal balance of mechanical tension, volume, and metabolic stress. But it's a good idea to occasionally experiment with higher rep ranges to see how your muscles respond. The challenge with higher reps is that it becomes harder to estimate your reps in reserve, RIR, accurately, meaning you might stop too soon without realizing it. That's why focusing on effort rather than a specific number is key. Training intensity. Intensity is the effort you bring to each set, and it's key for muscle growth. But too much intensity can lead to fatigue, which comes in two forms: systemic and local. Systemic fatigue impacts your entire body and often comes from doing too many high-demand compound lifts like squats or deadlifts. These exercises have a high fatigue to stimulus ratio, meaning they tax your system more than the growth they produce. Local fatigue happens in the specific muscle group you're training, like your quads burning out after squats. It can also result from too much volume, frequency, or both. This is why recovery is essential. Without it, fatigue builds up, progress stalls, and overtraining becomes a risk. To balance intensity, train close to failure on most sets, leaving 1 to 3 reps in the tank. For high volume routines, include deload weeks to give your body a chance to reset. Reps in reserve. Reps in reserve, or RIR, is a simple way to gauge how close you're training to failure. If you're leaving 1 to 3 reps in the tank, you're training hard enough to stimulate muscle growth without overdoing it. For beginners, this can be tricky to judge, so a good rule of thumb is to stop when your form starts to break down. If you perform 2 reps in a row with poor form, that's your stopping point. Over time, you'll get better at estimating your RIR. Injury prevention. Injury prevention is about training smart, not just hard. An injury can sideline your progress for weeks or even months, so it's essential to take proactive steps to stay healthy. Remember, the goal isn't just to lift heavy, it's to lift consistently over the long term. Consistency beats intensity every time when it comes to progress. Listen to your body. Pain is not the same as progress. If something feels off, whether it's a sharp pain, discomfort in the joints, or unusual stiffness, don't push through it. Adjust your form, reduce the weight, or stop altogether. It's better to miss one workout than to risk missing weeks of training. Listening to your body is one of the smartest things you can do for long-term success. Training myths. Myth 1, you have to spend hours in the gym and train every day. One of the most persistent myths in fitness is that you need to spend hours in the gym or train every day to build muscle. Let's debunk that with an extreme example. Six-time Mr. Olympia winner Dorian Yates. Yates trained only 4 days a week with workouts lasting just 45 minutes. His secret? Unmatched intensity. He pushed himself so hard during those sessions that he didn't need to spend hours in the gym. For most people, 4 to 5 training days per week with workouts lasting 45 minutes to an hour is more than enough. This allows for enough volume and recovery to build muscle efficiently. Remember, it's not about how long you're in the gym, it's about how effectively you use your time. Myth 2. Training to get jacked is just for show. Another common myth is that training for muscle growth is only for aesthetics and doesn't make you stronger. The truth? Size and strength go hand in hand. The bigger your muscles, the more force they can generate. While there's not a perfect one-to-one correlation between size and strength, you'll naturally get stronger as you build muscle. For those interested in diving deeper, our intermediate and advanced courses cover the two types of muscle hypertrophy: myofibular hypertrophy, which focuses on denser, stronger muscle fibers, and sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, which increases the size of the fluid and energy stores in the muscle. By training with both in mind, you'll grow larger muscles and increase your strength at the same time. Tracking progress. Tracking your progress is one of the most powerful tools for staying motivated and ensuring results. Without tracking, it's easy to feel like you're spinning your wheels. But when you log your workouts and track your body changes, you can see exactly how far you've come and make adjustments to keep moving forward. There are three main things to track. Number one, workout performance. Record the weights you lift, the reps, and the sets. This helps you measure strength increases and ensures progressive overload. Number two, body composition. Take regular progress photos and measurements, waist, arms, chest, etc. Number three, non-scale victories. Track things like improved energy, confidence, and even how your clothes fit. These changes are just as important as what the scale says. A great tool for tracking is a free training app like FitNotes. It helps you log your workouts, monitor progress, and stay accountable. Common roadblocks and solutions. Let's talk about roadblocks. Everybody faces them, but how you handle them determines your success. The first roadblock: plateaus. These happen when your body adapts to a certain routine. To break through, you need to make a change, add weight, adjust your reps, or even swap out an exercise for a new one. Plateaus are a sign of progress, not failure, and they're completely normal. Another roadblock is time constraints. Life gets busy, but that doesn't mean your progress has to stop. If you're short on time, focus on compound lifts that work multiple muscle groups. You can also use supersets or drop sets to save time. Supersets: perform 2 exercises back to back with little to no rest. Example: bench press followed immediately by push-ups. Drop sets: perform a set to failure, then immediately reduce the weight and continue with more reps. Example: bicep curls with 30 pounds, then dropping to 20 pounds for extra reps. Setting goals and long-term planning. As you progress, your goals will change, and that's okay. Building muscle is a long-term process, and you'll need to adjust your plan along the way. If you're not seeing progress, revisit your tracking data and identify areas to improve. Flexibility in your approach ensures that you always move forward. You might be wondering when you'll be ready to move to intermediate training. The answer depends on your progress. Signs that you are ready include: you've been consistently training for at least 6 to 12 months, you've built a solid foundation of strength and form, you're starting to plateau despite making adjustments. The Full Access Group provides more advanced beginner courses, gamified challenges, and monthly fraternity competitions. If you're ready to push harder, this is where you can test yourself. Beginner Training Wrap-Up. Congratulations, you've completed the beginner training course. You've built a solid foundation in both nutrition and training. Learn how to track your progress and tackle common roadblocks. You're equipped with the basics to start transforming your body and your mindset. If you're ready to take things further, the Full Access Group offers additional beginner courses that are more competitive, giving you all the tools you need to get jacked even faster. While you've learned the foundation, there's a lot more to building muscle and confidence at a faster pace. One of the most exciting parts is the gamification. Monthly challenges between fraternities, competitions, and prizes to keep you engaged and progressing. With this system and the support of influential fraternity leaders, you'll be set up for success like never before. Whether you stick with the basics or join the full access group, the key to success is consistency. Show up, do the work, and adapt as you grow. This isn't just about fitness, it's about building confidence, crushing goals, and creating a stronger version of yourself. Remember, you've got a community behind you every step of the way.